What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Progress Not Perfection, the podcast where I make complicated fitness stuff simple for everyday people. All right, let's get into it. Today, this week's episode, we're going to be talking about basically hunger, right? I had a client ask me, why am I so hungry all the time? Is this normal? Am I just being a baby? And I want to go over some key things, and some of these things are going to be some stuff that you maybe didn't think about before when it comes to hunger, and why a lot of people struggle with hunger when they get into a calorie deficit. They start tracking their calories, they change their diet, they get into a new workout routine, maybe they start trying to get more steps in. They are hungry all of the time, and I'm going to talk about some things that you may be doing very, very wrong and some things that you could change in order to feel more full and satiated, and so that way you don't fuck up your diet. All right, let's go over it. So, number one, obviously, the first thing I said is toughen up, Brenda. We all have a hard life. Like, pick your hard, right? We all have the same 24 hours. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm a little baby. Just kidding. I didn't actually say any of that stuff. Obviously, with my clients, I look at their diet, right? The first place that I go to is like, I look at their MyFitnessPal and I'm like, hey, what are you eating for breakfast? Are you skipping meals? Are you eating very little protein throughout the day? Those are some things that I look at. And also, are you eating vegetables? I know it's simple shit, but and that's the obvious stuff, right? That's the first place I look. Are you eating enough protein? Are you eating vegetables? Are you skipping meals? If the answer is like pretty good with those things, then we move on to the next thing. But the first thing that I look at is like, number one, make sure you're getting enough protein. Okay. I'm not talking about bars or shakes because that's the first place people go. And there's nothing wrong with bars or shakes. I just had a shake this morning. Delicious, 30 grams of protein down the hatch. Okay. But that's because I have the calories to do it. A lot of people, they don't need as many calories as I do. Maybe they're trying to eat 1,400, 1,600 calories. A shake is probably not the best idea. You want to get most of your protein from meat or plant-based sources like tofu or tempeh. Okay, but meat is what you want to focus on. If you're a meat eater, if you're an omnivore, if you're a carnivore, whatever you are, vor, you want to be getting most of your protein from meat. Okay. I know everybody wants to get protein bars and protein shakes. They said to eat more protein. What is protein? Protein is meat. Okay. I don't know why no one says this. Protein is meat. Okay. If you're a vegetarian or you're a vegan, cool. That's awesome. There's plenty of plant-based sources out there that you can hit your protein. You probably will have to use some shakes. But protein for the rest of us is meat. Chicken, okay? Go to Costco, go buy a rotisserie chicken, $5 or however, it's probably $6 now. I forget. I don't know. They changed the price on it. But get 4 to 6 ounces of that chicken in a meal, and you will not struggle with hunger anymore. If you do that 3 times a day, now you have just gotten what, 90 grams of protein or more. 6 ounces of chicken is going to be more. But you have gotten over 100 grams of protein in 3 meals. And then you can add in a shake or a bar, right? If you still have protein needs. How do you calculate your protein? It's really easy. A lot of people complicate this one. All you need to do is take your goal body weight. This is the weight that you'd be at your absolute leanest, and you're going to multiply that by 0.8. So, for example, if my goal was 160 pounds and I multiplied by 0.8, I would get 128 grams of protein. Okay. So, not much, right? My personal protein goal is going to be different than your protein goal. And, if you're struggling with hitting that much protein, like if you're like, well, my goal is 180 pounds and I'm a female who's 5'2", you should probably have a leaner goal body weight. Remember, this is the weight that you'd be at your absolute leanest, okay? Not a realistic goal body weight, a weight that you'd be at your absolute leanest, okay? So that doesn't mean like what you want to weigh in the next couple months. It's probably like an unrealistic target. That's what you'd be at your absolute leanest. If you're struggling with coming up with this number, because a lot of people do, just type in lean body mass calculator on Google, and the first one's going to come up calculator.net, and just type in your information there and you will get a lean body mass, and it'll usually say like something pretty freaking lean, right? It'll probably be a number that you will never see in your entire life. But that, if you multiply that by 0.8, that is going to be closer to when you what you should be eating for protein. Okay? Cool. We've talked about protein. Now, the next one, drink like a fucking fish. Okay? Now, I don't know. Do fish drink? That's a good question, right? Do fish drink? I should look that up. I probably sound like an idiot. Fish, what do they swim in? They swim in water. You should be drinking water, okay? You should be drinking a lot of water. A lot of people, they drink like maybe one tiny bottle of water a day, right? If that. Like, I have had some clients be like, "Oh, I know why I was so hungry this week. All I was drinking was my protein shake, and then I would have like a sparkling water later in the day." I'm like, "Yeah, you'd be drinking half your body weight in fucking ounces of water." So for me, it's like 85 ounces of water. Okay. It's not a small amount of water, but it's not a ton either. It's like half a gallon. Okay. It's not that hard to do, but it does mean that you have to space out your water. Get a really cool water bottle. Get one that has like a straw. I have this one. It says Pickleball King because I'm a badass. Okay. You want to get one that has a straw, something that you want to drink out of. It feels soothing. It feels satisfying to drink out of. Okay. Um, and if you need to flavor your water, that's okay. A lot of people are like, "Oh, don't flavor your water. It takes away the purpose of drinking water." Shut the fuck up. If anybody tells you not to drink flavored water, they're a fucking moron. Okay? Next. You are going to be hungry. And you have to accept that. If you want to lose weight, if you want to lose fat, you are going to be hungry, and that is okay. That's part of being in a calorie deficit. I would even argue that if you are never hungry, if you're not hungry at all, you are not in a calorie deficit, which means that you're eating too much or you're not moving enough. You're probably eating too much, okay? So you have to start eating less. And I know that you may think that "Oh, Jeff, I'm eating 1,200 No, you're not. You're not eating 1,200 calories. You're tracking your calories wrong. You are under-reporting your calories. Okay. I just talked to somebody on the phone yesterday. She was like, "Well, you know, I don't need to be that accurate with tracking calories because I never struggled with losing weight before." I'm like, "Well, how are you doing this time?" She's like, "I'm not losing a fucking pound and it's been like 8 weeks." And I was like, "Cool. Let's try meticulously tracking your calories for the next few days and watch what happens. You're going to be fucking hungry. Your body is sneaky. Your mind is sneaky. It will find ways to sneak in that little 500 calories, a little 800 calories, a little 1,000 calories throughout the day. Before you know it, that little bit of cooking oil, that little handful of almonds, the little licks, bites, and tastes that you take throughout the day, they add up. Then all of a sudden, you are not in a calorie deficit anymore. You are not going to lose weight. You are not going to be hungry. Okay. If I have clients who tell me every single week, "I'm not hungry. I don't know. I'm just not hungry. I'm just not hungry." Well, are you losing weight? No. Okay. You are eating too much. You're eating too much. I know it's really fucking simple. And I know that there's people out there who are like, "I'm barely eating anything." And they actually are. And they should probably get their blood test done. They should probably check their thyroid, all that stuff. That is the like 1% of the population. The rest of the people out there just suck at tracking their food, and they need to get better at it, and they need to be more honest with themselves. It's not that they're intentionally lying, they just don't think that it adds up. They don't think that it matters, but it really does. Okay, cool. Hunger is not an emergency. Remember that. You will survive. I promise. Just drink some water. Most of the time, hunger lasts hunger pangs last about 5 minutes and then they leave. So if you can just hang in there that 5 minutes, drink some water, chill out, go for a walk, go do something fun for 5 minutes, get your mind off something, make a phone call. Before you know it, hunger pangs are gone. You forgot you were even hungry in the first place. Okay. All right. The last thing I want to point out is hunger is hunger is a good thing. You should use it as a positive affirmation. Okay? It's basically a way of telling your mind and your body that, hey, I'm losing fat. This is what I wanted to do in the first place. Now you should not be starving. Those are two separate things, okay? If you're starving all of the time, that is not good. That could lead to you binging. That could lead to you going off the rails. Let's say you're super starving throughout the week, and then you go Saturday, you go to a Halloween party or something like that. And there's a bowl of candy, and you feel socially awkward and anxious, and you don't know these people there. Cool. You're probably going to eat 1,000 calories worth of candy without even noticing it. Okay. It's happened to me before. Actually, it happened to me last week. I was at a party. Um, I was feeling socially anxious because I didn't know anybody there. And somehow I found myself next to the crackers and cheese. Okay. Recipe for disaster for myself. Luckily, it was a refeed day, so I have more calories to play with. But I'm telling you guys, those situations come up. And if you're starving yourself, you don't go into the situation with some sort of plan, which is why I usually have like a meal before I go somewhere or have a protein shake before I go somewhere, then you are setting yourself up for failure. Okay. Because there's probably going to be food there and it's not going to be healthy food and you're probably going to overeat. Okay. Cool. All right, guys, I think that wraps it up. This was a quick one. If you guys want 30 fat loss tips in 30 days, I'm going to leave a link to my email, uh, fat loss tips. So these are 30 fat loss tips sent directly to your inbox over the next 30 days. So it's pretty cool. I send you an email every day for the next 30 days to help you lose fat, help you build muscle, and gain a better relationship with food. So go ahead and sign up for that if you haven't yet. I'll leave it down below in the show notes or in the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube. Again, if you are watching this on YouTube, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're listening to this, wherever you're listening to it, I would love a 5-star review. You know, 5-star reviews are awesome. Written reviews are really what makes the show grow and helps me break into the algorithm of podcasts. So I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for your support. And I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.